Hey guys, thanks for tuning in today. So we just got done with my 2001 Toyota Corolla rebuild job. This is kind of after the fact, so I hope you enjoy the video. So I got it running currently. It runs great. It actually runs better than it ever has been. I put new piston rings, I put new valve seals, I put new valves, and I did all the work by myself at the house. So it's not really a step-by-step video, but I will kind of just go over everything that I've done and just kind of help you through it. So I also put a new timing chain on it, so I hope you enjoy the video. We'll cut to it.
So we are getting to my 2001 Toyota Corolla rebuild job. So we're going to be putting in some new valves because I lost some compression in number 3 and it was running really crappy. I don't know if it's a really common issue. We're also going to be covering some oil seal issues, I believe, or it's going to be piston rings, cups that are in the spots. So I'm going to try to mark them. That's why I have that clipboard. And I'm going to put the measurement of it. So, you know, it could be like, let me take one off real quick for you guys. So, like this one, let me see if I could try to get you to see it. There's going to be a number in there. Be right there. 43. See that? Let me try it right there, 43. So that is the measurement of this cup. All right, so we removed all the cups. So marked it all down there on a piece of paper, and in a box I just have it in a bag. All right, so we're gonna be removing it now. So this metal insert right here is gonna remove the valve keepers. You just want to line up the best you can, push down as hard as you can. There we go. Okay, and see, sorry, I don't know if it's gonna adjust here, but we got the valve keepers right there. Took off the valve. Like I said, I'm going to be putting all this in a Ziploc bag separate from everything, so just in case the springs are different. Not sure exactly, sometimes they're the same, sometimes they're not, but I'm not sure. So these are some of my valves down here. This one was the one that was broken. So obviously that is not good. Been burning a lot of oil. At least a quart every 600 miles. Also, something I want to add is when you're removing the springs and all that with the tool, it's best to remove this. Gives you a little bit more room to line up the tool, because you want it as center as possible while you push down. And it's just best try to not break anything, because I'm telling you, you definitely need to put some force onto that tool to remove these springs. All right, so this is a whole new day. This is about a week difference. So anyways, back to where we were. You know, I wrote everything down. I wrote all the cup sizes. I was fortunate to be able to take this into work and kind of get it somewhat clean. I'm going to have to do this somewhat quick because it's a matter of I'm in a time crunch and I need to get this car working again. Pretty much what we're doing is we're taking a car that has about 300,000 miles, throwing some new valves, throwing a new head gasket, new seals, valve seals. I'm going to be taking out the pistons, putting some new rings, and I'm also going to be drilling out extra holes on the pistons so that the oil consumption is gone, hopefully. I wanted to show you guys the issues that these engines are having. I mean, you could probably, if you could see that hole right there, that oil hole where the oil is supposed to go back in the pan, it's clogged up. That one right there, I actually had to scrape it out. It was actually fully covered. So you can kind of see through that one. That one, it's definitely covered. So what we're gonna do is clear out these two holes, especially on the other side as well, and drill a hole right in the center of it to add an additional hole. And for 300,000 miles plus, it's really not too bad. I mean, you can still see the cross hatching in those. It's just, I'm literally gonna be doing them for maybe 20 seconds tops. All right, so sorry I'm not really doing a step-by-step, but I mean, hopefully you guys still enjoying to watch this video. Sorry. So anyways, I'm done with that portion of the car. Obviously the short block's in it, but I got it all honed out with the ball hone I used over here. And I'm pretty sure there's plenty of videos on how to do that. I didn't do it on my channel because, like I said, I'm just in a rush. So I'm just hoping you guys enjoy it. So anyways, we just got done with the pistons. I drilled an extra oil return hole in the pistons. So you don't need a whole bunch of equipment and stuff. I drilled that center one right there. Sorry, my camera is not really adjusting that great. And for the two side ones that are existing on each side, I just ran, I found a drill bit that was close to a hole that wasn't plugged. And the holes that were plugged, I just drilled with the drill bit through them to break up the crud out of there. And then I drilled an additional hole in the center. Hopefully that will eliminate the oil consumption in this vehicle. All right, so this is my valve lapping setup that I'm having going on over here. So this is the valve lapping tool I got on Amazon. I could post a link for it down below. I got it on Amazon. When you're valve lapping, you kind of want to go slow, not totally fast. But pretty much you want to be doing it similar to by hand. So I got it in the slow setting. I even have the clutch engaged for 3 according to this, but just don't want to mess something up pretty bad. So you just want to kind of clean it up. You don't want to be forceful with it. This is just what I'm saying, so I'm not really a professional at this, but this is just from my experience from working on cars. I would assume that you don't really want to be too forceful and too fast. You want to go slow and steady. That's what seems to work almost 100% of the time. Because you don't want to jack something up, especially on something this critical, because it can be. Because if you do a crappy job, you're going to have a really poor seal. So we're going to do it nice and slow. So we're going to be starting off with the exhaust side first. And I would assume it'd be better to be working on the opposite side. So it's not like you're bending down and have to do like a little bit of a turn. You're kind of almost going straight at it this way somewhat. So I'm going to do that. Alright, so I got a little bit of the assembly lube on the stem right there. And I got some dots on the valve face. I think that might be a little too much still, but we're gonna go with it. So see how it goes. Yeah, let's slide this thing in. There. There we go. All right. And then pretty much, like I said, you want to go slow. Wipe my hands off real quick. So you want to go slow with it. And then you want to go both directions. You want to make sure, if you are using this tool, not to try not to get that valve lapping compound on it, on this rubber cup here. Doesn't like it too much. So, oh wow. Okay. All right, and I'm gonna say that's pretty good. It looks like it matches up with it All right, I mean, that's the one that hasn't been done yet, and that's the one that has been done. I'd say that's pretty good. So, get it somewhat clean for now. Ooh, yeah, that sounds pretty good. All right, on to the next one. So to clean out the valve seats, I'm using a straw that I got off of Amazon. Didn't really order it. I know I got it off of Amazon, a straw cleaner, sorry. And I'm just using some WD-40. I sprayed it on the bristles and I'm just going in and out. You probably want to do it for about, you know, it's not really like an amount. You just want to make sure it's really clean. So the valve will float pretty much. It'll not float, but slide really easy. So you want to do this first before you start your valve lapping, so it doesn't get stuck. So I've done a few, but I'm gonna just redo the valve lapping because it just wasn't clean. It just wasn't spinning that well. So I went ahead and clean them out and use some ear cleaners. Go probably wipe it down inside with the ear cleaners and then do it again and just see how the valve slides on it. So okay, all right, I'm gonna run through on how easy it is to use this tool, installing the valve seals and the valves and valve springs back into this head with this tool. You know, throughout the video I showed you guys that we kept track of everything and keeping everything in line, like the valves, and once you're done with the not overlapping, but lapping of the valves. So already pre-soaked. Let's see, what are these? Okay, that's not what I need. These are the intake, these are the intake valve seals that we need. So if you're trying to verify what you need or what seals are what, so obviously you could match up that these are the intake. These are the original ones that came off, I think. Let me see. Let me make sure it's 100% here. Let me get another one. Let me get some more here. So, yeah, so these are the exhaust. You could tell how they don't go all the way through. These intake ones, it's like they go past and they're on this edge. So that's how I kind of matched these up, because they go off past the edge, and the gray ones that I did put on that one look exactly like this. So intake goes all the way through. Exhaust, it doesn't, it just hits the edge still on top. So, all right. Just so you guys know. All right, so let's use this tool real quick. I'm using this end. Remember, this end is to install the valve seals and to remove the valve springs and keepers, because this part right here is a magnet, just like that. See how it's magnetized in there? We're gonna do this number one right here because that's the valve we have going in first. So we stick it right, make sure it doesn't do that. You don't want to break the seal. So I'm gonna get it right in the center. It's kind of hard to do it one-handed, I'll tell you that much. Okay. So match it up right there. Push it down. See how it's in there? Then match it up like so. Then, not sure how exactly I'm going to do this. Hang on. So I'm hanging on to the tool and all of that. So hang on, there we go. So I'm hanging on the tool straight. Lightly tap it on top with the hammer till it, right here you hear that thud difference. It's all the way on. That's all it needs. Very light. It is completely on. You could check it with a pick, like so, like this, and just make sure you don't fill any gaps in the bottom of it. Okay. Then what I do next is, see, I got it marked, so this is the front one. Also, you want to have a piece of cardboard or a rag underneath the valve you're working on, so it holds it up while you're pressing down on the tool, so it doesn't slide down while you're trying to press on the valve spring. All right, and now we have the valve keepers in there with the spring and retainer, and pretty much you just want to line it up. Make sure you have that washer on the bottom, that silver right there around the valve seal is actually a little shim washer. You want to make sure that's in there. Stick that back on there like so. Kind of line it up straight. And now we got the tool. Let me flip it over here. We take this side of the tool. We line it up right in the center of it. I'm trying to do this one-handed, so bear with me. Hear the click. So I got the valve in there with the retainer tool. You might have to go down a few times with it, and then just let me put some light in there. You just kind of want to check the keepers and make sure they're kind of lined up. And then what I do is I take a brass drift like so and a hammer and just tap the top of it. It'll make the keepers really grab onto the valve and that little slot. All right, I just got done installing all of the intake side, valve seals, valve springs, valve keepers, all that on the intake side. Now I put the valve caps back on. Before I put those valve caps on, I put a little bit of engine assembly lube on the top of the valve stem. And then with putting on these valve caps, what I've done is I put a little bit of just some regular oil in the bag, because I mixed them all I put them all in a bag, and I just put some oil and I moved them around because I already had them all labeled, and I just put them back in the existing spots. As far as the cylinder head, I was making a whole different video about doing the measurements and everything for this cylinder head. The only issue is that these cups down here are pretty expensive. They're about 20 bucks a pop, probably close to maybe 300 bucks extra, which I don't want to spend. So obviously you're watching this video, I would definitely recommend taking it to a machine shop that they do heads and have them put in new valves and grind them themselves. So I don't think it should be that bad. It's about maybe 10 thousandths off each one, but they're not over tight. They're just a little bit loose. So I'm not worried about, maybe losing a few horsepower, to be honest with you. I just need it running. Just got done cleaning off the pistons. I was very fortunate to be able to do it at work, to use like a solvent tank. But I mean, you could easily do it with some parts clean. And the old piston rings, I used it to get off a lot of the gunk around the pistons and on top. For installing them tomorrow, I got the new bushings in. Obviously you're gonna wanna put like assembly lube, which I have on this part, and oil on the piston rings and around the piston rings, and you're gonna need some kind of installer. I'm using that one collapses into a few different sizes. What I did, because there's no studs on these rods, I ended up using the bolts, and I just put a few of these the crankshaft protections when you're installing these pistons on over the bolts. You'll have to kind of shove them in there because they're a little bit too small depending on what size you get, but yeah, that's how I'm gonna do it. And I'm doing like the corner right here so it kind of holds the bushing in as well while I hammer it in. All right, so I just got to installing these pistons. So make sure you stagger the rings make sure, you know, you have plenty of oil all around. Make sure everything's lubed. I'm putting engine assembly lube on both sides of the bushing. And it's it. That's it. Pretty simple. Torque spec is 15 foot-pounds plus an additional 90 degrees on the bolt, just one time on both. So 15, 15, 90, and then 90, and that's it. So, all right, let's get to it. All right, so this is the diagram to what you need to stagger the rings to. You're going to want to use some conventional oil or even break-in oil to help seat the rings. I'm just going to use conventional oil, and you're going to want to change it after about 1,000 miles of driving. And then after that, you could use whatever kind of oil you want to use, like full synthetic or synthetic blend. I'm probably going to use full synthetic because I want to definitely try to keep, you know, from oil consumption and all that again. And I'm just going to try to keep with the regular maintenance and try to keep up with it. But to be honest with you, I think that's how it normally sounded. I mean, I haven't driven this car in like over 5 or 6 months now, so this is kicking in. So I hope this video helps you guys out. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content.